Salesforce developer at TasteWorks since 1.5 years, and I'm a Lightning champion too, and I am 5 times Salesforce certified. You can follow me on Twitter on the handle Aviraya045. Now let's going to the agenda of today's session. So firstly, we'll be covering introduction to the data structures, then the types of data structures, operations performed on the data structures, and then we'll be elaborating some of the data structures into deep. Then we'll be saying that how data structures are linked with the Salesforce and how we are using them in Salesforce by getting the Apex language. Then we'll be seeing the data types that are used in the Apex language, and then we'll be having the quick demo to have the overall view in the last. Yeah, so coming on the introduction, firstly, we should know what is data structure. So data structure is a way to store and organize data so that it can be used efficiently. So here efficiently means that we will occupying less space for storing the data and using less time to retrieve the data for the future. Why we need data structure? So we all know that today data plays the most important part everywhere and it's increasing day by day. So today we have a large amount of data. So it is very much necessary to store that data in a manner so that it will not occupy the much space. And also we store data so that we can retrieve it in the future and perform some operations on it or have view of the data of the past. So that's why we needed data structure so that we can store the data in some data sets into the database and retrieve it most productively without having so much time. Then it is used for creating fast and powerful algorithms. So algorithms represent the process of solving a problem step by step. And here the data structures come into the part where we need to solve any problem with the less complexity, and that complexity includes space plus time complexity. So to reduce those complexities, we mainly use data structures, and different data structures have different performance. So that thing we have to define that which data structure we have to choose for a problem. Now will be that we have covered that we use data structures to save storage space. Now we'll be going to the next slide, which is types of data structures. So there are two types of data structures. One is primitive data structure, and the next one is non-primitive data structure. Primitive data structure is supported by the programming language, and we don't need to do anything in that. We can just use the built-in data types that are provided by any programming language for our use. For example, some of the common data structures, primitive data structure provided by any programming language is character, integer, floating point, which is nothing, the decimal numbers, boolean, which is true and false, and reference, which is the pointer to the memory. And then there comes the non-primitive data structure. So these are the complicated data structures, which are the combination of the primitive data structures. For example, we must know that we have array, which is the collection of the primitive data structures, say integer. So an array can be the collection of the 5 integer, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. List we have in the non-primitive data structure, then files. Now moving on to the next slide. So this is the at a glance view of the types of data structure we are having in any programming language or First is built-in data structure, which is nothing we discussed was primitive data structure. Then is user-defined data structure, which is the non-primitive data structure. Now, built-in data structure can be divided into four main parts here, which is represented, which is integer, float, character, and pointer. Pointer is the reference to the memory. Character is A, B, C, or any single letter. Then float, which is a decimal value, and then an integer. Now, user-defined data structure can be divided into three parts, which are array, list, or files. Array can be further divided into the one-dimensional array, which is a linear structure, we can say, and two-dimensional, which we can say the matrix. Now, the list can be divided in further into linear list and non-linear list, and linear list can be divided into stack and queue. Non-linear list can be divided into tree and graphs, and then we have files. So we'll be getting elaboration of some of the common data structures in the next slide. For now, we only save the data so that we can perform some operations on it in the future. So here are listed some of the operations which we can perform on the primitive data structures as well as the non-primitive data structures. So firstly, going for the primitive data structures. So we can create a primitive data structure uh, which can be say integer. So we can define an integer. Suppose if I go with C, then int any name is equal to 5. Updating the structure, primitive data structure. For example, I have to update the value of any data, delete data. Then on the non-primitive data structure, we have the following operations. Firstly, go with the traversal. Traversal is just passing through each element of the non-primitive data structure. For example, if we take an example of an array, which is of collection of 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then going through each element, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is known as the traversal. Insertion means adding an element to the data structure. For example, if I have an array of 5 elements, then if I want to add something into it, for example, 6, so I can add searching for some element in the non-primitive data structure, sorting, order of the data in some, for example, ascending order or descending order. So we mainly do this in our daily use, sorting any data, merging two type of data structure, and then there comes the destroying or deleting the data when there is no use of it. So these are some of the common operations we perform on the data structures. Now we'll be elaborating or going through some of the common data structures. So firstly, we can take arrays. So an array is a defined set of finite number of homogeneous elements. Homogeneous elements refers to the same type of elements. So for example, if it's integer, then an array will be a collection of integer or a collection of character or collection of float point number. That's all. Now we'll be coming to stack. So stack is a linear data structure which have a particular order for operations like insertion, deletion, updation. So firstly, we have those. The stack have the order which is LIFO, last in, first out. Here, last in, first out can be summarized with the example. We all have gone to marriages. There we see that there is a stack or say heap of the plates on the table, and then whichever plate is put at the last will be taken out first. So this is the example of the stack, that whichever element is put at the last will be taken out first. Now going to the queue. So queue is an ordered collection of items, and this is similar to stack, but the order of the operation here is first in, first out. So here insertion is insertion and deletion is done, deletion of element from a list is done like that. The first element will be taken out first. For example, we can say that we are making a queue on the airport to submit our luggage bag. So there we can see that whichever person standing in the queue at the first or which joins the queue at the first will be depositing the bags first. So here we can see that the person who is coming at first will get out first. So this is the difference between stack and queue. Now comes with the linked list, which is a so array is a defined set of finite numbers, we say. So for declaring an array, we need to know the size of the array. So sometimes it becomes very difficult to know the size priorly. So that's why we need to have some dynamic things. So that's why we move to the linked list, which is non-dynamic. Dynamic. So here we can see that is a collection of the nodes. In a single node, there is a two two sections, which is one is data and a second one is the pointer to the next element. So for example, in the first node, there is stored element A in the data section, and the next pointer is pointing to the next element. So it's easy in the memory to maintain this list. For example, in the future, if I am fetching this list, so I'll be known that nodes which are connected to each other, we need to fetch them. Now we'll be relating how data structures is used in the Salesforce. So Salesforce has its own tool to manipulate the data or play with the data, which is Apex language. And Apex language is a strongly typed object-oriented programming language. Strongly typed here refers that Apex have different data types and we can't mix the values of the data types like we can do in the JavaScript. It's also the object programming language, so it follows all the OOPS concept which are discussed in today's sessions also, which are encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, and so on. Now, the syntax of the Apex language is similar to the Java. So whoever in this session is known to Java can do the Apex very easily. Now, how we can play with the data in the Apex language? So we have the data manipulation language, DML calls, which are insert, update, or delete to play with the data stored in the database at the server side. Now, how can we query the data that is stored on the database? So we have SOQL and the which are Salesforce Object Query Language and Salesforce Object Search Language respectively, which are used to return the list of test object records in the Salesforce. Now Apex is interpreted and executed at the Lightning platform because it's a language by Salesforce. So everything is done on the Lightning platform itself. Now we'll be seeing the data types in Apex. So Apex supports the following data types. As we have seen in the last slide, we've seen that there are two types of data structures, primitive and non-primitive. So here comes the thing. Here the primitive in the Apex language includes integer, double is for decimal and decimal numbers, decimal, long for long integers, date for storing the date type values, date time for storing date and time values, string, ID is a special field, field or say data type which we have in the Salesforce. Then Boolean, which is true or false, as we all know. And then comes the non-primitive structures, which can be collections. Collections here refers to the lists, set, and maps. Will be We'll be going through them and later. S-object is the standard or the custom object which is supported in the Salesforce. Enums, enums are the abstract data types which are the collection of the elements mainly, but we use them for as a constant or identifier where we do not want to expose the values, and where we want to use them in very frequently in many places. Then we have classes, objects and interfaces, which is the part of the OOPS only, and which we have discussed in the previous session by Shiv Shankar. So now we'll be doing some demo. So here is the developer console, which is provided for the development by the Salesforce. So here, this is my simple developer edition org, and this is a developer console. You can go to the developer console by clicking on the setup and then clicking on the developer console. So I have created a sample class here for having some data types. So here I have listed some, how can we define some of the primitive data types. Firstly, we have integer, which is I have named as sample int and have provided the value 5. So this is how we can define our integer integer variable, say in the apex. So here I have printed the value. Now comes the double. So double will, I have passed 5 to it, but it will automatically append a decimal and a 0 to it. So double is mainly used for storing the decimal values. Long is used to store the large integer values. Then a date. Date is basically used to store a date. For example, I have given the year here. This is month and this is the day, which is 28th June 2020. So this is how we define a date in the Apex. We have a date class and we have a method new instance, which is used to create a new object of the date, or we can say instance of the date. Then we have the date time. Date time, we can define the hours, minutes and seconds also here. So this is the differentiate between the date and date time. Then we have a string. So a string is simply the collection of the letters, or I can include any integer also here, but we define a string by encoding all the thing into the single quotes. Now we have Boolean. We have ID field. ID field is mainly used to store the unique ID, which is done by the Salesforce when a record is created. Record here refers to the record of any standard or the custom object. Now there is a one data type, which is object, which can store the value of any data type. So this is very useful sometimes. And so, for example, I have stored an integer also in the object data type. We have, I was explaining the primitive data types, that how can we define the primitive data types in the Apex. So I have gone through integer, double, long, date, from the resuming from the date time. Date time is used to store the date plus time value. So here I have given the year, the month, day, and the hour value, which is 1240, and 40 is the minutes here, and 0 is the seconds. Then we can store the string like this. I have used the string data type and the variable name is sample string, and I have inputted my value into the single quotes, which represents a string in the Apex. Note, you cannot use the double quotes in the apex. So this is the very common mistake we do while starting with apex. Then there is a boolean, which is sample boolean, the variable, and I have given a value true to it. Then there is the id type, which is used to store the id. It is mainly used by the Salesforce and Salesforce system. When a record is created, the Salesforce provides a unique value to the record, and which is stored in the ID field, ID type field. Object. So object is a special data type which we are having because it can store any type of values. Here I have, firstly I have stored the integer type of values into the object data type variable, which is obj integer. And here I have stored the string type value into the same object data type with obj string as a variable. So just quickly I will run this and show you the to see my debugs here. So I can see the integer is 5. The sample double is on. The long value date 6 month and 20 day. This is date time, which shows 140. This is sample string hello. This is boolean. This is id integer and the object string. So here I have covered some of the basic primitive data types in Apex. So we'll be quickly going to the, let me comment this, and we'll be quickly going to the collections, which is a non-primitive data types. Non-primitive data types here we can see are of 3 types in Apex, which is one is list, second is set, and third is map. So here list is a collection of the integers which I have shown, but list can be collection of anything, string or any object. So here I have initialized a list of 5 values, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 3. I have repeated the 3 value to show the difference between list and set. So the difference between list and set is that list can have the duplicate values, but a set can't have the duplicate values. So this is how we define a list by using the list as a, and which collection I want here. I want the collection of the integer. This is the variable name. This is the new operator we use to define a new list, and this is a list of integer, and here I have initialized the values of the list. Coming to the set, this is same as we defined the list. It is also the collection of the elements, but it does not have the duplicates. And also list is a collection of the ordered elements. So ordered here means that we can retrieve the elements using the index, but in set it is not like that. And also it does not have duplicates. Now coming to the map, map is a key value pair, and here key is always unique. So we can't have same key twice or thrice or maybe more into a map. So it's a unique way. And this is the key value pair. Here my key is of the data type integer, and my value will always be the data type string. So I have defined a sample map in which I have showed what is the number, I mean sorry, words of the integers, like 1 to the 1, 2 to the 2. 2 is the string here and 1 is the string here, and 1 is the integer which is my key, and any1 is the value which is my value. So this is a pair, this is one pair where key is 1 and the value is string. So let's quickly see here. Please notice that I have defined 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3 twice into the elements, but it will be printed once because set automatically the duplicates from it. So okay, thanks. So I was going through the collections. So collections are of three types. First is list, then set, then map. So the list is a collection of the ordered elements. Here I have taken the list of integer, which is a collection of 5 elements, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, and it can also contain duplicates. While set is a collection of unordered elements and it doesn't contain duplicates, so it will remove 3, which I have taken twice automatically. And then map is a collection where we have a key value pair and where key is always unique. So here I have defined a map of integer as a key and string will be the value. So I have defined two pairs. One is of 1, which is directing to the 1 or any one value, and 2, which is the integer to the TWO2 value. So I will quickly, I have debug it, and here you can see that list will be printed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, and set have removed the duplicates. Here I have included 3 two times, but it has removed it, and here we can see that 3 is appearing only once. Now sample map is like this, where there is two pairs, 1 is equal to 1 and 2 is equal to 2W2. Here I have completed with collections. Now I will comment this and we'll move to the S object. So S object is the, as you have seen that we have standard and custom objects in the Salesforce. Standards are some which account, contact, opportunities, lead, and custom object we can create of our own according to our business need. So here I have taken an example of the standard object, which is account, and I have created a sample record of the account with name as Salesforce. And I have inserted it here. This is a simple DML call, which is data manipulation language call, where I am inserting an account record into the database. So we will see how this is inserted and how it will get. I have debug the account before saving it into the database and after saving it to the database. So we'll see what is the change in it. Yeah, so before saving, I have given the name is equal to Salesforce, but after saving, an ID field is automatically appended to the record, and it has given some value, which is done by the Salesforce to uniquely identify each record. So here it is always the type of ID, data type of ID. So here I have covered the primitive data types, then collections, and then objects. And then, so my demo is over for now. Now for the reference to study the Apex, we have the Apex Developer Guide, which we can say Ramayana and Mahabharata of the Apex. So we can have everything here and have a deep view, which is very much needed for learning any programming language. Then thank you for being a good listener, and I'm sorry for some internet issues which occurs in between. Uh, I'm I'm done, Vinay. Hello.